Hello, this is Plastic Jupiter. Today I will share with you the top 10 games I found on Switch in 2022. These are games that I first played in 2022 on Switch. They aren't necessarily released within the year. By the end of this video, I hope you would find some new games and give them a try. Number 10, Nobody Saves the World. Nobody Saves the World is a comedic twist on the classic top-down dungeon crawlers. You play as Nobody, who found a magic wand that allow him to battle monsters by transforming into numerous forms. You can be a rat or a mermaid. You can also be a monk or a robot. There are over 15 forms, each with unique attacks and abilities. Your objective is to explore the overworld and dungeons in order to stop the calamity and save the world. Each dungeon comes with its own set of obstacles, challenges, and enemies. To conquer them, you would learn to combine over 80 abilities to create powerful customized builds. The story is delightful, and I found the combat is rewarding that you are constantly unlocking things to experiment with. Number 9, Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy is a turn-based strategy game with a huge focus on story and decision-making. There are plenty of units to unlock throughout the game. Not only that, each character you unlocked comes with their own stories and missions, which make you feel immersed in the world they inhabited. You play as Serenoa, the noble heir trying to lead your house through different challenges. Throughout the story, you are constantly taking paths that affect how the story progresses in far-reaching and yet unforeseeable ways. Despite being heir of a noble house, you can't make all decisions alone. As our leader, you must negotiate with house members and find your path based on choices voted by each member. On the combat side, I enjoy thinking the way through each challenging encounter, which often require careful planning and utilize each unit's specialty.
A battle to prove which of us is more fit to rule Norzelia.
You speak of the high.
Number 8, EarthBound. EarthBound is a classic RPG released in 1994 on the Super Nintendo. It was made available on Nintendo Switch Online in February 2022. Also known as Mother 2, EarthBound became widely known for its main protagonist, Ness, as a playable character in Super Smash Bros. Ever since 1999. Ness's inclusion in Smash constantly renews fans' interest in Ness and EarthBound. EarthBound is a traditional turn-based RPG with a well-made battle system. Playing it nearly 30 years after its making, you would find the gameplay solid, but perhaps a little unsurprising. However, EarthBound is highly praised for its real-world setting in 20th century Western culture and its lightheartedness. It is like a school outing. Along the way, I can't help but to fall in love with its lively characters, as well as its lighthearted and yet memorable story. Remember, it is free if you have Nintendo Switch Online. Check it out after this video. Number 7, Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. Disco Elysium takes place in a fictional city, still recovering from the ramifications of a siege decades prior to the game's start. Players take the role of an amnesiac detective who has been tasked with solving a murder mystery, as well as recovering his own memory. As a common theme you would find on this list, Disco Elysium has an exceptional story and original gameplay mechanics. It also has an outstanding artistic style and musical score. There is no combat in Disco Elysium. Instead, events are resolved through skill checks and dialogue trees. The character sheet is a system of 24 skills that represents different aspects of the protagonist, such as logic and empathy. There is no single optimized build. Different skills would enable you to solve puzzles in a different way and provide you with different dialogue and stories. Originally released in 2019, Disco Elysium won Best Narrative, Best Independent Game, Best Role-Playing Game and Fresh Indie Game in the Game Awards. The final cut was released in 2021 with additional quests and voice acting. Initially, Disco Elysium suffered with performance issues on Switch, but it was largely improved with subsequent patches. If you like RPG and don't mind a lot of reading, Disco Elysium is a must-play. Number 6, Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is a hack-and-slash action game. Controlling the protagonist Bayonetta, you would combat various enemies using a combination of melee attacks and gunplay. Dodging enemy attacks at the last second triggers a state known as witch time, during which enemies slow down, allowing Bayonetta to continually attack them without interruption, or traverse in real time to solve environmental puzzles. Combat in Bayonetta 3 is fast and smooth. As the winner of the Best Action Game in the Game Awards 2022, it is one of the best combat systems on Switch. On one hand, it is easy to pick up for newcomers. With a little practice, you could complete the game with satisfying combos. On the other hand, even veterans would still find it challenging to achieve the game's highest rating of pure platinum. However, the plot of this game is confusing and far from satisfying. You should adjust your expectations before investing in Bayonetta 3's story. Number 5. Danganronpa Decadence. Danganronpa Decadence is a collection of the 3 mainline games in the series: Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony, as well as the spin-off, Danganronpa S, Ultimate Summer Camp. Your objective is to escape from the establishment controlled by the robot bear, Monokuma. In each game, you control a high school student who finds themselves involved in a battle royale situation. This is a series of murder mystery visual novel, with elements from dating simulations and third-person shooters. There are also class trials every chapter, where you must determine the culprit of a crime. Class trials in Danganronpa require you to react by shooting at appropriate keywords within a limited time. As expected in visual novels, Danganronpa is full of mysteries, twists and turns. It is exciting to uncover the truth step by step. Even more so, I find myself constantly worrying when the next murder would occur, which of my classmates would fall victim, or even worse, who would become a culprit of a murder. Danganronpa Decadence contains all 3 mainline games. While each one is self-contained, there is little reason not to play them in order. Number 4. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is a combination of visual novel and real-time strategy battle. In this game, you take control of 15 different characters, who interact with each other to build a larger narrative. The story follows the perspective of 15 characters. While several characters are native to the 1980s period, several come from either 1945 or the future. The gameplay is split into 3 sections. They are Remembrance, with exploration and dialogue taking priority and advancing the narrative; Destruction, where characters equip mecha and engage in battles against kaiju; and Analysis, a glossary which documents events, important items and characters. By following each character's storyline, you would aim to avert a disastrous future for mankind. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim has an exceptional and memorable story. Beginning with time travel, it gradually expands into one of the best sci-fi stories on Switch. Number 3. Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal is a turn-based RPG, with dungeon crawling and equally important social simulation. It is one of the greatest role-playing games of all time. Ever since Joker joining Smash Ultimate, it is the most requested port for Switch. In October 2022, it finally arrived. This game is fun and engaging. Every character, screen and even menu is full of style. It has lots of jazz and memorable music. If you like RPGs, you should already know Persona 5 and playing it. It is available on all platforms. What is good on the Switch version is that it comes with all DLC with no additional cost. If you are wondering why it is only number 3 on my list, it is because I have spent 70 hours and still nowhere near finishing it. Once I have fully experienced Persona 5 Royal, I am sure it could have rank even higher. Number 2. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Sunbreak is a DLC for Monster Hunter Rise. It has perfected the vision setup in Monster Hunter Rise. The core of Monster Hunter is its compulsion loop. A hunter in this game does not grow and has no intrinsic statistics to level up whatsoever. Rather, the hunter's abilities are defined by the specific weapons and armor selected. The player can equip weapons, armor, and items most beneficial towards completing a given mission, and if successful, the hunter is awarded with loot representing parts from the monster. These parts can be used to forge or upgrade new weapons and armor, which then can be used against more powerful monsters and tackle more difficult missions. Combat is centered around watching for a monster's tells prior to an attack to be able to dodge it or make a counterattack, and looking for openings to unleash strings of attack combos. Monster Hunter gives players great satisfaction via mastery of each weapon, and learning to react and even predict monster movements. Combat in Monster Hunter is usually described as a series of boss fights. Sunbreak not only introduced new monsters and weapon skills, it also retired most criticized parts in the base game, such as Apex Monster and Rampage quests. Sunbreak introduced new endgame elements in the form of anomaly investigation and curious crafting. These new endgame elements have ever-increasing difficulties, and are a big improvement from the base game. Not only that, Sunbreak also continuously gives players free title updates, which keep on adding new monsters, skills and game improvements. Half a year after its release, there were 3 title updates, with 2 more updates coming in 2023. Overall, this DLC has provided a tremendous value for all Monster Hunter players. Number 1, Nier Automata, The End of Yorha Edition. Nier Automata is an action RPG set during a proxy war between alien-created machines and human-crafted androids. The protagonist is 2B, a Yorha combat android whose main traits are her calm and composure. The story requires multiple playthroughs, each unlocking additional story elements. Gameplay combines role-playing elements with action-based hack-and-slash combat, with the player fighting enemies in real time, in a variety of in-game environments. At different points, the gameplay changes to reflect different video game genres, ranging from shoot 'em up to text adventure segments. This game has an extremely fluent hack-and-slash gameplay. At the same time, the story of Nier Automata is fascinating and highly entertaining. The music in the game is at extremely high quality, so much that it beat Persona 5, and won Best Score Music in the Game Awards 2017. Last but certainly not least, the ending of Nier Automata is one of the best gaming experiences you could ever have. Nier Automata has an outstanding performance running on Switch. With no additional cost, the End of Yorha Edition includes all previous DLCs, as well as new costumes exclusive for the Switch. Nier Automata is the best game I played on Switch in 2022. What was your favorite game last year? Let me know in the comment. Thanks for watching.